Hare Krishna. I am Radha Mohini Mohan from the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We welcome you to Shri Shri Radha Ras Bihari Temple, ISKCON, Juhu. The topic for discussion today is, can anyone be scientific and yet spiritual? क्या कोई एक साथ वैज्ञानिक और आध्यात्मवादी हो सकता है? Can anyone be scientific and yet spiritual? Here by scientific we mean that we have been getting knowledge in the process of ascending order, and in this ascending order process of acquiring knowledge, or which is called as scientific method of acquiring knowledge, we see something, we analyze those things, and then we prove that it is correct, and then we accept that. So this is what we understand by way of being scientific. Now in this entire creation, in this world, lot of people, they are doing research. They try to know the unknown things, and the process of knowing that, they see some things, some happenings in this creation, and they want to find out the cause behind that, and then they make some hypothesis. They try and collect evidences, and then they analyze those evidences, and once it is proved, they accept that this is the reason for that incident or that occurring, and this way the scientific knowledge is acquired. Now in this process of acquiring knowledge, we are limited by this gross senses. There are lot many things which are beyond this gross senses, which we fail to understand why that is happening, what are the cause behind that, and if we are not able to get proper answer according to this method, so-called scientific method, we do not accept it or believe it. So this is the scientific way of getting knowledge, either accepting anything or rejecting anything. But the spirituality is the knowledge about the opposite of these gross elements. The substance is soul. The spiritual knowledge and journey begins with the knowledge of soul, which is an element totally opposite to this material element. The material element is Asat, Achit, Niranand. That is, it is temporary, it is lack of knowledge, and it is full of sorrow. But the soul is just opposite to this matter, which is Sat Chit Anand, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. Now if somebody wants to have the systematic knowledge of the soul with these gross elements, it is very difficult or nearly impossible to get that spiritual knowledge. So if you really want to be scientific and spiritual, then we need to follow the Shastra, the scriptures, the authentic Vedic scriptures, and we need to see and understand the things, the process according to the eyes of the Shastra. Once we start seeing through the eyes of the scriptures, then we can be scientific as well as spiritual, and all the knowledge which is shared in our scriptures, it is scientific only. The problem with us is our incomplete senses, we come under delusion, we make mistakes, and then we do not accept our mistakes, we try to prove ourselves right. So until and unless we come out of this four limitations, we cannot get knowledge from the eyes of the Vedic scriptures. So if you want to be scientific as well as spiritual, we need to get the knowledge in descending order, not in ascending order. So in the descending order, we get the knowledge from the source of the knowledge, which is always 100% true. Sometimes we do not understand because of our limitations and we reject that knowledge. So without faith, we cannot grow spiritually, because we cannot accept that knowledge with open heart. So we need to have unflinching faith in the authentic source of knowledge, authentic source of knowledge giver, and then after taking knowledge with full faith, we can start our spiritual journey. So to answer the question, concluding is, yes, we can be spiritual as well as scientific when we see the knowledge through the eyes of the scriptures. Hare Krishna.